Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Virginia, and today I have brand new Valentine's Day DIYs to share with you. I have some which are bolder, like this door sign, and then I also have some that are a little bit more neutral, so if you don't like the bright red Valentine's Day, you might like these more neutral DIYs. Starting off with the door hanger, I grabbed a wood round. I actually picked these up off of Amazon. I'll leave it linked down below. I got a bunch in a pack and they're really big. I think the ones at the Dollar Tree are maybe 10 inches and this one was 14. So I'm using some painter's tape to tape out how I want everything. I got out a tape measure and was going to be precise, and I ended up just kind of guesstimating where I thought everything should go. So I laid down the paint, and in the bottom section, I'm just using some white paint to fill that in. I want the bottom half to be buffalo check, so I'm starting by taping that out. I'm going to be taping down horizontal pieces, and I'm just using the tape also as a spacer. So I'm laying down one piece of tape, laying down another, and then one additional one, and then that piece of tape that's in the middle I'm going to pull apart. Of course, if you have really thick painter's tape, you'll want to measure this out, but that's why I like using the thinner painter's tape. I basically just use this as my own measuring. So now you will see there are spaces in between, and with that I am painting it a dark gray. This color is, I believe, called Charcoal by Waverly, and I'm just laying down a coat of that. Once that paint has dried, I'm removing the painter's tape, which is so satisfying because they are nice crisp lines. And now we're going to be doing the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So before I was laying down my pieces horizontally, and now I'm going to be going vertically. So laying down a piece of painter's tape, using this used one as my spacer in between, and then laying down another. So you're basically just repeating the exact same process that you did, just the other way this time. Once I have everything all taped out and I've pressed down the tape to make sure that the paint won't bleed through, I'm going in with the exact same color that I used previously on the horizontal stripes. Again, this is Charcoal by Waverly, so I'm going over that and painting all of those blank spaces in. The final step, you want to make sure that your paint is absolutely completely dry, and we're going to go back in with some horizontal stripes. It's a little bit difficult to see on camera, but the parts that are originally white are showing through. So I'm just going back in, and on those areas that are white, I'm covering with the horizontal tape one last time. And now I'm going in with black. So I'm dotting pretty much the areas that are going to be black. You can kind of see where the gingham squares are going to be. And then again, wait for this to completely dry before you do any peeling back of your paint tape. I had to include this part in because it is so satisfying to see. Once everything is completely dry, you can begin removing all of that painter's tape, and what will be left behind is this gorgeous buffalo check pattern. The next step is going to be taping out the middle section. This is the section that I'm going to be painting red and eventually putting the saying Hello Valentine on. So again, I guesstimated. You can take out your ruler and make sure everything's precise, but I just kind of guessed where I thought center was and then went in with the shade Crimson by Waverly to paint our center red stripe. The final section that we need to paint on our wood round is the top, so I'm taping it out, and this one's really easy because I'm just painting it plain black. So I just went in with the shade Black by Apple Barrel. That is my go-to, and just painted the entire top. I did end up using 2 coats of this. These wood hearts are from the Dollar Tree. I got them in a pack and thought they were so cute. They are a just natural wood color, but I wanted them to be a little bit brighter of a white, so I went in with the same shade white that I used on the buffalo check, and I painted those hearts, and we're going to leave them to dry while we work on our bow. We're going to be creating a simple X bow. So I picked up this tool from the Dollar Tree, and I wasn't really sure how to use it. I've never crafted with it before, so it just kind of rolled into tubes. So I placed that to the side while I started laying down my pieces of ribbon. You just need 2 of them, and you place them in an X formation. I layered the ribbon again in an X formation in the patterns that I liked on top of one another, and then grabbed a zip tie and zip tied right through the center to keep everything in place. It doesn't matter about the lengths yet. We're going to get to that in just a second. So once you have your ribbon all zip tied together, this is when it's really nice. If you have wired ribbon, you can kind of manipulate the ribbon, pull it around, and again, trim those tails. I like to do dovetails on my X bows. Again, this was my first time working with this tubey tool kind of ribbon. I don't really know what to call it. So I just shaped it into an X and then took another zip tie to attach everything. But let me know in the comments down below, how do you use this type of ribbon from the Dollar Tree? I wasn't exactly sure what to do with it, but I did end up liking how it turned out. Now that my white hearts are all dried, I'm laying those down across the top black section of our wood sign. They did have little sticker dots on the back of them, but I also placed it down with some hot glue. I used my vinyl cutting machine to cut out Hello Valentine and place that in the center section. The Dollar Tree does sell those galvanized signs around Valentine's Day, so that would be a cute alternative if you don't own a cutting machine. This next DIY takes very easy to find Dollar Tree items and gives them an upscale touch. This is actually based off of something that I saw at Kirkland's for about $30, so let's DIY it for less. This wood sign and the wood hearts are from Dollar Tree, but I didn't like the glittery pink on the hearts, so instead I took the shade Ballerina by Waverly and painted over the glitter and just painted them a plain kind of muted pink. For the Dollar Tree sign, I didn't like the wood backing. I wanted the hearts to pop a little bit more, so I just grabbed some white cardstock and placed that in the back of our sign. Now I'm going in with every other heart, red and pink, and just placing that all around our sign. I did use my cutting machine to write out "You Have My Heart." This is an exact dupe of the one that I saw at Kirkland's, but if you don't have this, you can just write it out yourself, or again, use one of the galvanized signs from Dollar Tree. They have some really cute ones out right now. Okay, this next DIY is using an unlikely supply. I'm actually taking the salt and pepper shakers that you can find in the kitchen section at Dollar Tree, and we are going to turn them into this Valentine's Day decor piece. Like I said, these are found in the kitchen section, usually of the last aisle with the other glassware. I'm taking just a white chalk paint and going over our glass jar. Then once all of the white paint had dried, I went in with Waverly Antique Stain, or Waverly Stain in the shade Antique, and my apple barrel chip brush, and I just dirtied everything up to give it more of that rustic kind of farmhouse look. Using the same white shade, I took the wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. I really liked the shape of these ones. They're a little bit skinnier and longer than the ones that I used in the previous DIY. And I just painted those white, and also with some leftover lace trimmings that I had, I wrapped that and hot glued it in the back of the salt and pepper shakers. And then I went in with my hot glue again to place down some bows. It is so cold here right now, I can't even imagine thinking of spring at the moment, but my Dollar Tree did have spring florals. So I took these faux, I think it's lavender picks, and I placed those down in the salt and pepper shakers. And now I'm going to put some hearts on sticks so I can also tuck those down into the salt and pepper shakers. Again, I did one more coat of the white on the hearts because I realized I forgot to paint the backs, and I'm hot gluing them on bamboo skewers. I think you can get a pack of about 100 also in the kitchen section of the Dollar Tree. So the red hearts I didn't like. I didn't think it went with the purple of the lavender, but the pink ones I did like, so I didn't paint those. I just grabbed my hot glue and also hot glued those onto the bamboo skewers. Next up is a really quick and really easy one. So if you're not that big of a crafter or just don't have a lot of time on your hands, this is a simple and subtle way to bring Valentine's Day into your home. It's keeping in with those neutrals. So again, you don't have the bright red and pinks kind of messing up your regular decor. I cut out a heart out of some cardboard that I had. I used this wood heart from the Dollar Tree as basically something that I could trace around. And then it's super simple. I took white yarn. This one is from Walmart. I actually made a candy corn DIY with it. I'll insert a picture last year. Guess it is last year now that it's 2024. So I went around that with the plain white yarn. Then I had this really pretty kind of fluffy chenille yarn, but I don't like to use it because I haven't been able to find it again at the Dollar Tree. So I just went over the top of the plain yarn with this one. So it's all that you can really see, but you don't know that it's the plain white yarn underneath it all. I picked up this wood piece in the shape of a coffee cup back in the autumn, and I didn't really know what to do with it. I kind of just displayed it as is, but I kept it in my craft stash because I thought it would be cute. I was gonna do something hot cocoa themed with it for winter, but I blinked and all of a sudden it's Valentine's Day crafts, so I'm moving on and creating a Valentine's Day coffee mug. The exact buffalo check style that I did in the first DIY of today's video, I'm doing here, but instead of doing horizontal and vertical lines with my painter's tape, I'm doing them at a slight diagonal, a little bit of an angle. I've just never done that before and thought this would be a good experiment. Surprise, I really like the way it turned out, so I might be doing this in future ones. You do it the exact same as you did the previous one, but again, instead of straight horizontal, it's slightly diagonal horizontal, and you go down with your first coat. In this case, I'm using this pale pink. Then I'm going to go the exact opposite way, but again, I'm doing it at a slight diagonal using a little bit of tape again as my spacer tape, just like I did in the first DIY. Once my tape is all laid down and I've really pressed it in to make sure that the paint won't bleed through, I went in with the exact same pink shade. Again, this is called Ballerina by Waverly. Once that is completely dry, you can see a little better on this one than you could in the black and white buffalo check, but I'm going in the opposite direction over the areas where the white is showing, and instead of using black paint, I am using red, the color Crimson by Waverly. And when everything was dried and I peeled it off, I absolutely loved the buffalo check effect with that slight diagonal in the center. The theme of the bows in today's video are, I guess, X-bows, because I did it again for this one. I really liked how it looked on the first DIY. Again, you're just going to take 2 strips of ribbon and put them in an X formation. I pinch them in the center and secure with a zip tie, and then I can really fluff around the different pieces of ribbon and add the little dovetails to the end. I did make a small raffia bow that I hot glued to the top to kind of hide where the zip tie was. And then of course I had to make it a little bit more farmhouse, so I used my Waverly Stain in Antique and just went around the edges of the coffee cup. For the final touch, I had a bag of glitter heart stickers I picked up at the Dollar Tree, so I put one of the glitter hearts in the center of our wood coffee cup. Since that last DIY was pretty bright and on point for Valentine's Day, let's switch it up and do another neutral one. I'm making a candle stand, but really you could put anything that you want on this, and we're going to make it in the neutral farmhouse style. So I grabbed one of these wood hearts from the Dollar Tree. They have them every year and I love them. I made faux cookies with them last year and I painted the entire thing white. Next, I went in and distressed the heart using my Waverly Stain in the shade Antique. And to make it actually a riser, I'm going to be putting little wood beads on the bottom of it, 2 underneath the round part of the heart, and then 1 at the point in the bottom. I picked up the wood beads from the Dollar Tree. I found them in the Crafter's Square section, and I painted them in the same shade of white and did the same distressing technique on them that I did on the heart. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, keep searching, keep creating.